Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, we are going to be talking about Slormancer. So, Slormancer is a pet game that I've been following the development of for the past few years now. It is probably one of the most entertaining ARPGs I have ever played ever. It is definitely within the top 5 best ARPGs I've ever played ever, and probably, in my opinion, objectively, one of the best ARPGs on the market right now, if you actually like ARPGs. And in this case, it hits every single thing I would want from it. You get nice, satisfying combat, very smooth and like non-janky. You have very good character customization, build customization, very in-depth in terms of like your main weapon, in terms of the Storm Reaper, right? There's hundreds of them that you can utilize. You can, craft all your gear. The crafting is pretty intense in terms of like the amount of slots you have access to. The passive trees are amazing. Everything about that part of Slormancer is amazing, but you also have really good endgame content. In the beginning of Slormancer, they just had like the Wrath system where you just endlessly farm maps and then, progress through them. But over the past few years, they actually introduced a lot of different endgame systems, something like Delve in terms of the Storm Reaper Temple. There's also, of course, the Great Forge, which I think is by far the best end game system any ARPG has ever implemented in terms of just how much fun it is, the moment to moment gameplay, in terms of how rewarding it is, in terms of how fun it is to play. Like, it is probably just the best in that regard, in my humble opinion. It blows everything almost out of the water. The only thing that comes anywhere even close to that kind of complexity and fun is, of course, Path of Exile, but that's because Path of Exile has been updated for about 10 years now. Now, let's talk about why we're making this video today and why I'm gushing all over this game. That is because I think it's actually in the spot where I think a lot of people should start picking it up and having fun with it. I know it's hard to say that right now because there's a bunch of stuff going on. There's like the Elden Ring DLC coming out. There's the new Last Epoch patch coming out. There's the new Path of Exile League coming out later July. There's also Path of Exile 2 news coming around in later this year. There's the Diablo 4 expansion if you actually want to shell out $50 for a little bit more of the game. There's all these things happening, but I like implore you to spend just a few minutes, if not maybe a few hours, playing this game and having fun with it, because I sincerely believe you will have an amazing time. And that is just because of how much love and effort has been put into this game over the past 3 years. It's kind of like that kind of funny like story between the rabbit and the hare, where in this case, Slormancer is the turtle. Sure, it's a little slow, but it's going to get there, and it's going to get there first, and just because of how amazing it is. Now let's talk about why we're here. It's because of the new patch that is coming in the next few weeks. So if you don't know, there's going to be a new patch for Slormancer. It's going to be the gigantic balance update. This update is absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, it is huge. It has changes and fixes for almost everything in the game. Essentially what they've been doing is they've been adding things patch by patch, and as they've been adding those things, they've been doing small balance tweaks here or there, removing some things, changing some things, reworking some things, but they've essentially just held back until this patch. This patch is so thick, it's crazy to me. The fact that it has this much in it, and like, I'm going to be honest, it's probably one of the bigger patch notes I've ever seen for an RPG in general. I'm just astonished by the just weight of all of this. Like, it has a large amount of quality of life upgrades. It has a large amount of balance, so the game is going to feel completely different when we actually play it, right? It has reworks to mechanics like specific attack speed and cooldown reduction, auto attacks, and stuff like that. It it's so big and so large that it will essentially make Slormancer feel like it's a different game. If you have played Slormancer in the past, and maybe like 2 years ago or something, I would implore you to download it again and try it again on a fresh save once this patch comes out, which will be within the next few weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Sadly, it's going to line up with a lot of other things currently, but I think it's still worth a lot of people's time just because of how just immense the actual game is at this point. Like, a lot of people's perception of the game is like the early access, which was like very small in comparison to like what's actually in the game now. Like, if you were to like compare the early access to like what is actually in Swordmancer now, it would be like 5% to now 100% or 95% of the way there. Like, they're almost done with the story. They're almost done with all the end game. They're almost done now with the balancing once this patch comes through. They're almost done with all the Swarm Reapers, which there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, and each individual Swarm Reaper works in their own individual way that are very unique to each other. They essentially have their own like abilities, right? And you can focus on them, or you can focus on your skills, which all are all different, right? They're not as in depth as other games, but that doesn't matter because of all the other stuff. Like, you have the ancestral legacy system, you have all the mechanics going into it. Like, I think that, like, if you like ARPGs, you like playing them for the depth of them and not just like some stupid like, I don't know, attention grabbing shenaniganry, right? If you want actual depth in your video game, I would heavily suggest trying Slormancer. I know I sound weird right now. I'm like completely shilling the game out, but that is because it just is that good. Like, if I were to choose a game that I would love to see blow up in terms of popularity, in terms of people playing it and loving it, I think the Slormancer is probably going to be one of those games. Like, I'll be honest, like, if I ended up like able to just make content on Slormancer and Last Epoch, I would love that. That would be absolutely amazing. I want more people to play this game. More people need to play Slormancer. It is just that good. It's just that fun. It is one of the doozies. I've like, it's crazy to me that not that many people have played this game. Like, if you played like Grim Dawn and you love that game, you should try Slormancer. If you played Last Epoch and you love that game, you should play Slormancer. If you played Path of Exile and you love that game, you should play Slormancer. If you've played Diablo and enjoyed that anywhere near amount, right, you should play Slormancer. Like, you should be playing Slormancer right now, in my humble opinion. So that's going to be it for this quick little video. If you want this video to like be shown to more people, hopefully more people learn about Slormancer, leave a like on the video, share it with your friends, show them that this is one of those games that they should be looking out for if they want a very in-depth and fun ARPG. With all that being said, this has been Dread. I'll have to go probably wait for the Slormancer update. Bye.